Tyson. How old were you when you became a made man?
I was, when I became a recruit, I was 22.
Yeah.
And I took the oath when I was 24, 2 years later.
All right, so listen, how do you, your mindset, like my mindset.
Yeah.
So I'm a made guy in the neighborhood. Nobody could fuck with me, put their hands on me, but I could fuck with you. How do you do that? Look, my mentality. You know, I'm a young 27-year-old guy. Hey, I don't like this fucking guy, but I love his girlfriend. Kill that motherfucker. That's my main time. You know what I mean? If I want this, kill them. You know what I mean? If I want that fucking house, he has a business, fuck him. If I was a mob, that's what, so does that thought goes through your mind?
You know, Mike, now, honestly, I got involved in the life really to help my father. I mean, that was my whole motivation.
Oh, see, I would be so self-absorbed and stuff from the mob. If I was in the mob, I'd be so self-absorbed.
Yeah, but you know what? It happens. I mean, it's a rush because, you know, you got a ringside table wherever you go. People give you a lot of respect. And, you know, you try to carry yourself the right way. You don't want to abuse that.
How do you do? You never had that before, and all of a sudden, boom. It's never like this. I give you a little bit at a time. It's just all at once. Boom. You're made.
Yeah, but understand, I grew up with it. You know, I mean, look, I spent my childhood in the Copacabana meeting everybody from Sinatra on down. So, you know, my dad was that kind of a guy. I mean, when he walked into a place, I mean, he was a different guy.
Respected.
People really looked up to him. They really respected him. He carried himself well, and he was a tough guy. I mean, there's no question about it, you know. So, I mean, I grew up around it, and I really admired and respected my dad. But when I got into the life, you know, I wanted to, number one, I wanted to get him out of prison, so I worked hard on that. And number two, honestly, I wanted to be the best possible mob guy I could be. So
What's that consist?
Yeah, what did that mean?
You know, in that life, you kind of make your own way. They had guys, I'll give you an example. I took the oath in 1975, right, on Halloween night, actually. There was 6 of us that night that took the oath. And we had 115 made guys that actually took the oath. Out of the 115, 20 of us were earners. The other guys were just...
That means you bring in money.
Yeah, we were earning. We were earning really for everybody else. The other guys who got him a union job, who was doing a little bookmaking, you know, trying to scratch out a living. So I was determined to make money, and I had a head for business, and I used the life. I knew how to use the life to benefit me that way. So I took advantage of that. You know, and I got involved in a lot of different things, and, you know, I came upon a scam. I'll tell you what happens, Mike. There was a guy, Italian guy around me, right? He kept coming to me. He had a couple of gas stations on Long Island. He had like a wholesale operation. So he comes to me and he says, Mike, he says, you know, I got these 2 guys from another family. They keep trying to extort me. He said, you got to help me out, because I was kind of the guy on the island when I moved out there. I did some research on this guy, and I found out that he had testified in a case, a civil case, against the governor's brother at the time. So I didn't want to have anything to do with him, right? He kept coming back. He said to me, listen, if you help me out, I got a way to defraud the government out of some tax on gasoline. So he got my attention, right? I hated the government. So I said, well, explain it to me. So he tells me this little thing. I said, all right, we're going to go into business together. I said, I want to form a new company. That's it. So I get rid of the 2 guys that were bothering him. I didn't get rid of, you know, I made them go away. And I put this guy, Vinny, around me. I had a guy around me. He was a big guy, right? He was a butcher. Big scar across his head, a real,
Sounds
you know,
gnarly.
Yeah, a real 4-bar. I says, Vinny, watch this guy, Larry. Let's see if he's got something. Tell me what he's got. About 2 weeks later, he comes to my house on a Saturday. He used to bring me meat every Saturday. He was my butcher. And he's got a box on his shoulder. And he rings the doorbell.
You're hoping it's money, right?
Yeah, no, I'm saying, what are we doing with all this meat? We having a party or something? I don't know about it. He says, hey, Chief, come into the kitchen. It ain't meat. He puts the box on the table. He opens it up, $320,000. He said, this is the first week's take in the gas business. Smelled like gasoline, right? I didn't care what it smelled like at that point, but he got my attention. So what happened, Mike, over the next 8 years, I took that from $320,000 that week to almost $10 million a week. We had about 350 gas stations.
So how many people were getting that money? How many people did you have in your crew that was getting that money?
Well, you know, I was supporting a lot of people, the guys at work, and I was kicking up to the family. I was giving them $2 million a week. You know, you got $2 million a week, it buys a lot of loyalty, as you know. You know what I mean? So
I would think hell yeah, I would say, go ahead, man, do what the fuck you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, you know. And so they made me a captain, 1980. They elevated me to that position. And I grabbed, I got a deal with all the Russian guys out of Brighton Beach. You know, they were my partners too. They were great partners.
Like, can I stop you real quick? What does it mean as a captain? Do you have people under you?
Yeah.
That's what.
I'll tell you the rank. You got a boss, an underboss, a capo regime, you know, consigliere, and consigliere rather, and a capo regime. The capo regime is a captain. And then the next official position is soldier. So when you come into the life, when you take the oath, you become a soldier. And then you either stay that way or you go up from there.
And when are you made? When are you a made guy?
You know, listen.
At any point?
No. You got to go.
You can't be a
time-
soldier.
I'll tell you what happened.
Time, I guess.
When my dad sends me, now Joe Colombo had been shot, if you remember. He was
70s,
seriously
right?
wounded. Yeah, 71. And Tom DeBello was the new boss. He took over. He's dead now. And I sat with Tom, and he says, Mike, I got a message from your father. He said, you want to become a member of our life. Is that true? I said, yes. He said, here's the deal. From now on, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you're on call to serve this family. That means if your mother is sick and dying, and you're at her bedside and we call your service, you leave your mother, you come and serve us. From now on, we're number one in your life. Before anything and everything. When and if we feel you deserve the privilege, the honor to become a member, we'll let you know. And you're in a recruit period where you have to do anything and everything you're told to do to prove yourself worthy. And, you know, listen, people ask all the time, number one question, Mike.
Kill anybody.
Did you ever kill anybody? No, I got three top questions. Number one, did you ever kill anybody? Number two, where's all your money buried? And number three, where's Jimmy Hoffa buried? Those are the three top questions all the time. I can name them wherever I go. It doesn't matter. So, you know, after about 2 years, I proved myself worthy, and then we got called in on, it was Halloween night, 1975, in a secure place in Brooklyn, and we all took an oath.